Yes. Well, that's obviously not the end of the video. I mean, come on, you guys have been waiting like three months for this? I'm making this video because, well, I love the horse artillery pistol, or HAP for short.
I'll be using these two words interchangeably throughout this video.
In fact, not only do I love this weapon, but I also think it's one of infantry's strongest guns. But, okay, why do I love the HAP so much, and what makes it so good? Well, let's start with the stats. Added in the Copenhagen update, the horse artillery pistol costs 700 francs, and it's just one of the 3 infantry weapons added in that update. And the only one I forgot to cover. Until now. It deals 85 damage, penetrates 6 enemies, along with a 14-second... No, wait, sorry.
13.4
second reload for both barrels. Why are these stats always so inaccurate? And an 8.5 second reload for one barrel. Don't worry, we'll get into the reload stages later. With decent spread, just shy of the carbines in fact. Now you may be thinking, well, why do you like this weapon so much? I mean, so far it sounds pretty awful compared to infantry's other weapons. Well, I think now's the perfect time to mention the weapon's gimmick, its second barrel, which is significantly more accurate than the first, with a spread of 0.4. That's even more accurate than the musket, believe it or not, even if it doesn't seem like that most of the time. Lastly, just like the DB pistol, you can choose to fire both shots individually or at the same time. And that is all for the stats. Now on to using the weapon. This weapon is great for dealing with special infected like bombers and igniters, obviously. I mean, you could probably figure this out by looking at the model, but believe it or not, the extra bullet isn't the main reason the HAP is so great for taking out these special infected. Like I mentioned during the stat read, it takes 8.5 seconds to load one barrel after shooting it, which is only around 1.5 seconds shorter than the musket, but it's still useful and you can definitely feel it in combat.
Well, just use the carbine. It reloads almost a second faster and it's more accurate. Look, it even costs less, which is great for new players.
You know what? You're right. I mean, the carbine is just so much better than the HAP. You even move quicker while reloading it, allowing you to more easily frontline. And I love frontlining. Say, if only you could reload the HAP faster. No, not like that. Oh, reload canceling, how I love you. If you don't know, reload canceling is a feature that some guns have in G&B. All reload canceling is unequipping or switching off your gun to save time. And boy, can you save time with the HAP. Normally, it takes 13.2 seconds to fully reload it. However, if you unequip the weapon right after you hear the first tap of the ramrod, it'll only take 10.5 seconds, which is only slightly slower than the musket's reload. You can also do this while reloading one barrel, taking just 5.5 seconds to have 8.5, which is faster than the pistol's reload, by the way. That's not even mentioning reload stages, which are basically just checkpoints in the reload that every gun has. I'll put a list on screen of all the ones for the HAP. Got that? Good. Let's move on.
Hey, that reload time doesn't take into account the extra time required to re-equip the gun and fire it, so the carbine is still faster. Probably.
Oh, you sweet summer child, or winter child. Sorry to say, but it ain't so. That's right, canceling the reload and shooting the HAP takes just 8.3 seconds, compared to the carbine's 8.7, which is, well, less than half a second faster, but it still counts. Even the lower accuracy is barely noticeable. Okay, maybe on maps like Catacombs with its large finale area, or Copenhagen if you're trying to snipe the brig sloop crew, but if you're playing literally any other objective map, or just endless, then the lower accuracy is hardly noticeable. This technically makes the horse artillery pistol the best bomber picker in the entire game, for infantry at least, and you don't even need the second barrel. Hold on, slow down for a second. Hello everyone, Headediting24 here, and, yeah, something happened. In the most recent G&B update, they added the air rifle, a 20-round rifle which is for, you guessed it, infantry. And I'm just going to be honest because there's no beating around the bush with this one. The air rifle is 100% the best bomber popper in the entire game, without question.
Oh my god!
What? So is the HAP worthless now? Well, no, actually. You only get 30 shots in total with the air rifle, unless you spend 100 francs for a second air canister, increasing your shots from 30 to 60, with the damage and accuracy dropping drastically after the first 15 shots. It only has one penetration, so it's more difficult to hit barrels and hordes, and at long range, it can sometimes require you to shoot a barrel multiple times before it dies, which is made even harder when you remember the decreased accuracy at low air pressure. Not to mention the gun is 10k compared to the HAP, which is 700, making the HAP much easier to get for beginners. While the HAP may have 10 times less bullets, it does fire them faster, which helps in sticky situations. So, is the HAP still the best bomber popper for line infantry? Well, no, but it's still a great option for doing so. Alright, back to the video. In fact, let's talk about the second barrel, because in my experience, it's usually best to not use it until you absolutely have to. Like if two bombers are approaching your team's barricades, or if there's a zapper, but we'll get to him in a second. Because of the aforementioned reload cancel trick, there are only a handful of situations where the second shot of the hat becomes needed. Scenario 1 is if you're backed into a corner and you're using it as a last resort to take out a few more enemies. If you find yourself having to deal with multiple bombers in close proximity, then go for it. Just remember to stay behind to reload, otherwise you might not be so lucky the next time around. Speaking of the longer reload, that's sort of what makes this weapon balanced and engaging. You have the power of a second shot, with the trade-off of being you need to commit more time to getting those shots back. You know, game balancing and stuff. It's also worth it to just use your second shot during the finale of maps like Vardahouse and Catacombs due to how far away bombers spawn, giving you lots of time to reload. Scenario 3 is if you encounter a zapper. Because the headshots, with guns at least, will always steal 50% of a zapper's base health, and the gun has 2 bullets, this means...
Whoa, Xbox, record that.
That's right, much like the DB pistol and, well, every C-Man weapon, the Horse Artillery pistol can effectively one-shot a zapper on any wave with a double shot ability, which makes you really question what the point of the rifle is. In all seriousness, this ability can be great if you need to quickly take care of a zapper. As always, prioritize bombers and igniters over these guys, but if none of them are around and you or your teammate are in a bit of a pickle, go for it.
Hey, what about the double barrel?
Okay, I was waiting for someone to say this. Now this may sound incredibly hypocritical of me, but comparing these weapons makes me want to punch my computer screen, tear off my skin, and stitch it to your face while you're asleep. I know the argument. It reloads faster and is almost as accurate. Keyword, almost. However, and also, the frickin' heavy saber? Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm going to give up one of the best melees in the game just so I can, support my team? Yeah, no thank you. But genuinely, these weapons are for two completely different classes, and I've already made a video talking about the DB pistol, so why not just equip them on both and be done with it? In short, I like the heavy saber more than the officer's charge simply because if I have a heavy saber, I'm the one getting that charge buff. There you go. That's as good as the hap gets. Pretty good for clearing special infected, reload canceling makes it decent for kiting. What else can I talk about? I guess there's also hardcore, but you guys all probably know what I'm gonna say regarding that. If only there was a way to make the hap even stronger. No, not like that. I have so much respect for fifers, mainly because they just leave their team to die and usually don't give a shit about anything happening around them, but also because of the reload speed buff. Knocking the full reload down to just 10.6 wait, 11.2? No, that's not right. Hold on a second. So, yeah, apparently double barrel guns like the HAP and DB pistol only get a 15% boost in reload speed instead of the 20% boost all the other guns get. I'm not sure why this happens or whether it's on purpose or not, but it's pretty strange either way. Regardless, you still reload a lot quicker than normal, which is always appreciated. But remember, you can reload cancel, which cuts the time down to just 8.7 seconds for a full reload, only a second slower than the carbine. Well, what about the singular barrel? 4.6 seconds. You heard that right. 4.6 seconds. For what is essentially a carbine shot. And once you add up the time it takes to equip it, the total time to reload and fire becomes just 7.1 seconds, meaning it fires just a bit slower compared to an unboosted carbine shot, which is fair. Oh yeah, and here are all the reload checkpoints. Essentially, and say it with me now, protect your musicians at all costs. Horsemen! That's right, the HAP is amazing at taking out the horsemen. Probably the best gun for doing so, in fact. Mainly because nearly every gun that should be good for taking them out were all nerfed. You can still take them out incredibly fast if everyone's using the knock gun, however. I don't know what you're supposed to do with this information due to the Halloween event being over, but at least you know for when he comes back next year. Or if you just have a private server, which literally everyone has. Oh yeah, and it's way more effective on hardcore due to the increased spawn rates of special infected like bombers and igniters. It's also, again, amazing for taking out sappers. I wish I had more to talk about regarding hardcore, but it's basically just normal mode with stat tweaks, so it's sort of hard to make this part interesting. It's also 100% worth running on endless, whether you just want some extra firepower while kiting, or if you need to pop barrels for your team. Now that I think about it, the HAP is basically the perfect all-purpose weapon for infantry. Its reload is quick and you get a second barrel, making it great for killing special infected. It's pretty cheap, making it great for beginners. Who cares if it doesn't have 20 bullets or a bayonet? I have a heavy saber, man. It's perfect. Well, sort of. I mean, the reload can be a bit long sometimes, and the first shots in accuracy can mess you up, but that doesn't mean anything, okay? So, what did we learn today? Well, the Horse Artillery pistol is strong. Like, really strong. One of the best guns in the entire game, at least in my opinion. Like the carbine, it's incredibly good for taking out bombers, especially during holdout sections, where it's arguably better than the carbine. The extra shot allows you to quickly take care of an enemy you've missed, take out multiple enemies in quick succession, or annihilate zappers in an instant. It does have some drawbacks, like how using the extra shot leaves you vulnerable for even longer than normal, the carbine generally being better for a more mobile playstyle, and how using the hap over the musket deprives you of the bayonet. Oh wait. All in all, a really solid weapon that deserves to see more action. 10 out of 10, my favorite gun in the entire game. Well, there you have it. There's the hap video. That's what I personally thought of the weapon, but what do you think? Comment down below, even if you disagree, because it boosts engagement and it makes me more money. And you know me, I love money. Anyways, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you'd be so kind, join my Discord to submit art and hang out with my mentally ill fans, and this is me, signing out. Goodbye. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas.
It's a volley gun, so it's very powerful, but it can break your shoulder if you're not careful enough.
You're lying.